Thursday, August the 4th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Definitely a different type of weather day yesterday. For a lot of the day, clouds, showers, a few thunderstorms, and some flooding problems in a couple of spots, which I'll highlight for you as the video rolls along. There again is a live look this morning from the North Carolina Outer Banks. The Avalon Pier web camera temperature there at Kill Devil Hills stands at 76 degrees, and temperatures definitely held down across a lot of the Carolinas yesterday due to extensive cloud cover and those showers. Now the heat really cranking back in the plains. Still pretty hot over much of Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, but again, you get on our side of the mountains rather, and temperatures definitely held down in a lot of spots. In fact, only 81 for the high temperature around Greensboro yesterday, 88 in Raleigh, 78 in Boone. And check out the foothill areas of the Triad viewing area. Only in the 70s yesterday afternoon. 77 in Reedsville, 73 in North Wilkesboro, Mount Airy, 75. Statesville only 78 for the high, but well up into the 80s in most of the rest of the Charlotte viewing area yesterday afternoon. All right, this morning it's mainly 70s. Still a pretty soupy, saturated type of air mass out there. Dew points way up into the 60s and 70s here early this morning. Now, this was the radar throughout the day yesterday and on into yesterday evening and last night. And a couple of spots that were problems, and I'll highlight both of them. Let me start up here in the northwest part of the viewing area of the Triad viewing area. You had Surry County really have some problems with persistent areas of rain. You had some very persistent areas of rain and flooding issues up around parts of Iredell County, around Statesville as well during the afternoon hours yesterday. So they're in Surry County. Look at all the reports of flooding there in the eastern part of the county. I'll highlight a couple of those reports. Look at this one. You had swift water rescues due to cars being swept into the Ararat River yesterday evening. Localized amounts upwards of 8, 9, 10 inches of rain. Higher than what you see here on the radar estimated totals. So there were some ground reports and gauges of 8, 9, and 10 inches of rain. And as I cut the video early this morning, still have an aerial flood warning in effect for Surry County. The Ararat River, again, as I'm cutting the video, still in flood, but the levels are receding fairly rapidly. Let me check some other rain totals across the region down toward the rest of the Triad viewing area. Some sporadic 1 to 2 inch rain amounts. And again, there were other big issues with flooding there right around Statesville. Again, the radar estimated totals don't necessarily do this justice. Only 2 plus inches of rain evident there, the radar estimated rain totals. But again, you did have some pretty significant issues with flooding there in the northwestern part, the northern part of the Charlotte viewing area too, there around Statesville. There are those Statesville reports, and again, I'll highlight a couple of those reports here if I can. They're around, again, central parts of Iredell County. This is during the afternoon hours. Yesterday, you had several issues with flooding up that way. 1, 2, 3 o'clock. That's where we had some issues with flooding there in that part of the region. Now, let's go to what's happening this morning. And still, it's the foothills and the mountains seeing the lion's share of the rain. It's back into Wilkes, Surry, Yadkin County, where you continue to have a lot of issues with ongoing heavy rains this morning. That's continuing to be an issue up that way. And that's where the rain continues to be most significant at the time I'm cutting the video. System kind of sluggish. Bear with me. Looks like the computer really is kind of struggling for us this morning. A lot of clouds, some areas of showers, a few afternoon thunderstorms a possibility today. Here's the high resolution modeling showing you the idea there, those areas of showers with us from time to time. Really, at any point in time, anybody's fair game to pick up a shower, but a lot of the rain may actually occur through the first 2/3 of the day today, say between now and early afternoon. Rainfall amounts very unevenly distributed again, but the heaviest totals probably in the mountains and the foothills due to the upslope component of this easterly flow. Highs held in check again today, so not too bad there. Tomorrow, again, temperatures held down a bit. A little better chance of some thunderstorms getting involved tomorrow afternoon. The air mass a little more unstable. Your highs tomorrow still in the 80s in most spots. As we get into the weekend, this cold front approaches late in the day Saturday. I think a lot of Saturday rain free for the Piedmont, but by the late portions of the day, could be a few thunderstorms involved and some hotter temperatures too. Saturday definitely a hotter type of weather day before temperatures then trend down again next week. All right, in the tropics, we had Hurricane Earl make landfall about 2 o'clock Eastern time this morning in Belize. And it made landfall as an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane. Here's the latest advisory on Earl. Winds sustained at 75 miles per hour, located 50 miles to the west-southwest of Belize City, and it did make landfall near Belize City. Earl will continue to move to the west-northwest through parts of Mexico, maybe grazing into the Bay of Campeche, but then back over land. And so the big problem with Earl is going to be flooding and mudslides in that very mountainous terrain there through Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, those areas. As 6 to 10 inches of rain are quite possible in coming days. All right, let me show you a couple other charts here. Let's start off with the upper air pattern for today. There's your height field, and this disturbance approaching tonight. That's what's going to give us a pretty good opportunity tomorrow for some areas of showers. Actually, this is tomorrow evening. Yeah, this evening rather, into tomorrow. Pretty good chances for some showers and some thunderstorms out there. But as we get into the weekend, still some troughing in the eastern part of the country. Temperatures still held in check overall. No extreme heat, but it will get hotter. I think we do pop into the low 90s, maybe some mid 90s in some spots Saturday afternoon. So today, again, some areas of showers, maybe a few embedded thunderstorms, scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. And so then as we get here into the weekend, all right, this is Saturday, over toward I-95, maybe some scattered thunderstorms. And then as the next cold front approaches, by late in the day and into the evening, could be a few isolated storms elsewhere across the region. There's Saturday evening. As that front moves in, a little better chance for some late day storms in the rest of the Piedmont. Sunday, this is where things get a little more challenging, and some differences really crop up between the GFS and the European. Now, this is Sunday. That front kind of stalls out, so you end up with some pretty good opportunities on Sunday for some areas of showers and some thunderstorms. And then on Monday, cold air damming event underway. In fact, let me span this view out. High pressure over the northeast moving out to the Atlantic. Good wedge signature on the GFS. And so you have high temperatures on Monday on the GFS look like that, with clouds, some showers, and really a cool day. Now, that is not the case. The wedge not nearly as pronounced on the European model, so I have not gone completely with this solution. But I do think we're back to some cooler temperatures Monday and Tuesday with some clouds, some shower and thunderstorm chances, and we'll see how strong that wedge winds up being. Tuesday, still the effects of the wedge being felt across the region if the GFS is correct. Back to warmer and muggier conditions on Wednesday and Thursday with some afternoon thunderstorm possibilities back with us. So we'll see how that wedge tries to play out as we get into early sections of next week, Monday and Tuesday. Again, the GFS much more aggressive with that wedge at this point compared to the European model. All right, that's it for the latest edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you for watching. Everybody have a wonderful day, and God bless.